Sorry,
Hello, everybody.
Pizza.
It snuck up on you.
It did work.
It did work. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tales Does Tales, where we here at Tales of Initiative play through Tales from the Yawning Portal with an eldritch twist, although we're currently in a bit of a little fun, wibbly-wobbly, downtimey arc. But I am still your GM, Matt, and I am still so pleased to be telling this story with all of the delightfully daring and frighteningly fantastic cast of players, Bun, Haley, Danny, and Mark. Pachow. Pachow, pachow. Bun has returned. The Pebblecule is back at full strength with all of my players. That doesn't translate to the Borat voice very well. Not as good as my wives. My wives. By the way, apologies in advance if I, at any point during the stream, cough into the mic. I'm still fighting whatever parent plague is currently affecting me. And while I'm feeling pretty good, the frog in my throat is not respecting the eviction notice, so I'm doing my best to police that with the mute button, but apologies in advance should I fail.
Speaking of parent plagues, happy Father's Day!
Yay! Happy Father's Day!
Oh, how fun! The whole new
Dated Father's Day.
Yeah,
Yes.
happy fathers.
That's
Yeah.
so fun. It's a completely different time of year for Australians.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I'll get you another happy Father's Day later on in the year.
Yeah!
Yay.
September, I think.
You know, my mom also told me in Germany that it's celebrated on a different day as well.
You get three of
Yeah,
them.
it's
You gotta be
in
multinational
everywhere
fathers.
except for because the UK has a different one too. So
Actually, no, it's the same.
is
For the
it? Because
UK?
I know Mother's Day is different than in Scotland.
Yeah,
it's
but-
different.
I was talking to my husband, and he was telling me, oh, the Father's Day was the same day. And I'm just like, why is it Mother's Day is different, but Father's Day is the same? He's like,
Mm.
How odd.
We gotta coordinate this
Interesting.
stuff.
Very.
I don't know.
Everyone sit together, pick a calendar day.
Just decide.
sit at a world meeting, get our world leaders together, and discuss the important issues.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Or-
isn't that what the UN is for?
Or is this part of the scam? Are they spreading out the capitalism for all of the gift purchases throughout all of the year to different days? Is that the real trickery that
Yep,
we've
that's
all
right.
been had?
That's why you get like those Father's Day displays. They'll just like, okay, pack it up. We're sending it off to Australia
Yep.
now.
Just ship it to the next place that's perfectly gapped to where they can make the trek in time.
Yeah, there's literally a trail that goes just around the world.
Unfurl the banner! It's Father's Day here now!
It reminds me of the old school like carnivals and circuses and stuff.
The true world
Just
tours.
Toss
Yeah.
it on the train.
Yep. Pack it up. And then we'll pack it
Going
in
on the
and let us
Father's Day
begin.
tour.
Some announcements, real quick. First, the standard stuff. We got sponsors. They're amazing. Go check out the links in chat. You got Level 1 Gamers and Into the AM for nerdy merchant apparel. You got GameStop, Emberwind, Buried Without Ceremony, and Day 20 for all things gaming, be it on the tabletop or your laptop. And then you got TA Maps for incredible customized calligraphy that can bring your homebrew worlds to life. Check them out, because they all have dope, sweet discount codes for you, our amazing audience. Toy! TOI. Pew. Also, a big thank you. Big thank you to our patrons over on Patreon, who voted on what they wanted to see between the dungeons. So, we just finished Forge of Fury. We're heading towards Hidden Shrine of Tomoakan, but we're not there yet. And in between, we're going to be doing a little bit of... We did some shopping, which is our delightful episode 50 milestone last week. And then we're going to have some downtime here in just a second. And then we're going to be doing some homebrewy adventures that aren't dungeon crawls to get us a little bit of variety and put y'all into a different circumstance. Try out some more of your kits that may or may not be applicable when you're not in trap-infested dungeon crawl. What is the air horn doing here still?
You're excited.
That's fair. So, and
I
also
forgot I
there
needed to post the dresses.
amazing. There is also going to be a Grimace Fist arc coming up as part of this. Voted on by our patrons. Thank you. If you are a control freak as well, or if you just want to support us, go over to Patreon, subscribe. Even if you're only on the free tier, there's still going to be some dope exclusive stuff coming down the pipe for you. I will also say, just as a little teaser, that more plans for exclusives on the Patreons are in the works. It's gonna be very, very exciting, but that's literally all I can say right now. I have nothing else to tell you except soon. More news in Talesland. Fresh from the line. Announcer voice. I can't even do announcer voice. I think I'm too sick to do the announcer voice. Ah!
Oh, no.
This
Oh,
weekend. This weekend, sorry. Saturday, June 22nd, we will be going live for 12 hours, starting at noon and going all the way to midnight to celebrate Pride Month. Happy Pride, everybody. We are going to have 3 games happening. First is going to be Conlon GMing a game of Eat the Reich, which, if you are not familiar, is an extremely gay, extremely hyper-violent, ridiculous game where a bunch of vampires get coffin dropped in to assassinate Hitler. It's incredible. Laura will be GMing Oops, All Draculas. There seems to be a theme this year. And then I will be GMing a game of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. All of this
with
is...
vampires.
Maybe. Stay tuned. You'll have to find out. All of this is in support of the Trevor Project, an incredible organization that provides support, education, advocacy for LGBTQ plus youth. Over the past few years, we've raised over $2,000 with this event, and we'd love to keep that track record going. So please tune in, tell your friends, give what you can, and make sure that we have another amazing year giving to those who need it. Whew, any other announcements from the zones? Tumbleweeds. I don't know if anyone gets that reference, but oh well. Womp womp. You're not up to date on your MCR lore. It's okay. Any announcements from y'all's life? Bud, are you okay after your Dead Space 2 eye surgery?
Soon I'll have a robot eye.
Yes. Bud going full Terminator. So,
So awesome.
in that
Either
case,
that or like Prey. You have to stick that stuff in your eye.
I never played.
Oh
I
God.
didn't
Do you
play
know
that game.
Everybody should play Prey. It will make you so paranoid about coffee cups because the mimics can turn into literally anything.
I couldn't
So
figure out what game this was. I had no imagery. Now that you said the mimics and coffee cups, now I'm on. I got you. I'm with
Yeah,
you. There.
I swing.
Needle in the eye thing was a.
I swing my wrench at everything.
Bop.
Are you a mimic?
So,
I hate mimics.
2 quick notes before we get into our game today. They're gonna sound familiar if you're a longtime viewer. These are the same notes that are always on. Well, kind of. Thin the Veil is not active right now. We're in a little bit of downtime. We're in a reprieve. Nothing crazy chaotic is gonna be happening at the moment. And the other thing is, it is still gothic horror. It is still Eldritch horror. So, be ready for body horror, unreliable narrators, gruesome squishy noises. In general, I'll make sure that food of all kinds, including pizza, is utterly unappetizing. So if you got it, eat it now. Meanwhile, Danny's making us scared of coffee cups. No one's safe here. No one's safe. It's just the Papa John's buck.
You told me to eat quickly.
Quick, eat it. If that is not up to your
Lean
speed,
off screen.
yeah, just Matrix out of frame and then num. Sorry, my brain broke.
Not me realizing Papa John's is a real place and not just a meme.
We're learning.
That's
We're learning every day. And
If
in
you
case,
don't like those fun, fantastic things, go watch some of our other shows,
Watch
either
the
here
other
at a
ones.
later date, or on YouTube, where we have over a gazillion videos at this point.
that's the official
I don't know
number.
the actual number, so
It
gazillion.
might as well be. I'm still shaming the audience. I'm shaming y'all. We need more subscribers on YouTube than we have videos. Go get it done. Get on it. There's more than one for each of you.
Get it.
Awesome. Okay. The other
If
thing.
you happen to miss anything, you can catch up all the videos there because we premiere them a week after they premiere here. So yay!
Exactly.
There you
And
go.
we also put a bunch of shorts up for our funniest, silliest, most ridiculous unhinged moments, including very recently, and I got to giggle all over again when y'all didn't see the stairs on the map, and that was so enjoyable for me. Also, If
I'm
Eldritch
gonna
Horror
laugh
is
in
not your
10
bag,
minutes.
yeah.
We did.
If Eldritch Horror is not your bag, you don't have long to wait, because if you missed it last week, Total Party Chaos is at a brand new time and day. What? So just in a few short hours, Airhorn's back in a few short hours after we wrap up here. Come on back. We're gonna be having some chaos involving
Haley
the whole
continues
party.
to get no sleep.
Yes. We're running Haley ragged.
I have like a nap in between. It's fine. You
It's
guys
fine.
gentle with me.
Sunset of Vengalia is still technically on break, but there will be replays every Wednesday as we are leading up. We got to flashback and fucking shit-eating grin from Haley, still getting me. We got just not looking at Discord. Just gonna look at the camera. I'm looking at you. We're right here. We're locked in. We showed episode 30, which was our fight against that undead beholder back in Loch Hilbrendark. We'll be showing off an episode from the Cezanne/Stead Dundragon arc this Wednesday. Ooh. Just little reminders of all the big highlights of stuff that's happened in the campaign so far, leading up to July 3rd when we come back with episode 100. And I think that is so many announcements. Done. Enough of that. It is time to dive back in and remind ourselves of what happened when last we told our tale.
Shopping.
Basically, yeah.
Shop.
Yeah. I need a shopping playlist on my little music tracks over here. But yeah, you got a note. You will need to dress to impress in 4 days' time. That was the note left on the group's new bag of holding that appeared late in the night, written in what Winvir recognized to be Papa's handwriting. You then
Papa
briefly
Santa.
Papa Santa. You then briefly experimented with putting the entirety of your hotel room into the bag of holding and then taking it out, just to make sure that it all worked.
So we know exactly how much stuff fits in it now.
And you did not run out of room. I will make that note.
We didn't.
You didn't.
Noted.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
You could even fit the couch in there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I will.
Good.
I did.
It's stretched.
It seems that Papa has made a very accommodating bag of holding that is just ready to nom nom whatever there is.
Which is
This is where we find out it's a bag of devouring and we lose stuff every week.
With formal attire
It
on
also
their
has a
minds.
very nice clasp
It does.
so that the bag man can't come out.
Yeah, it's got some bagman protections on it. With formal attire on their minds, along with a few objectives of their own, the group set out into Ashtel. Winvir fluttered ominously. Pebble got a rune. Narcissa got a tattoo. And no matter what, Mirik always remembered to tip generously. As a quick reminder, can each of you go around? We'll start with Bun, because I know that you even sent me a little image of what you had in mind. Can all of you remind us of what your formal attire looked like that you got from either Amond the Dragonborn or Kazna the Drow?
Let's see. So I think my dress is kind of it looks a bit like mixture of Little Red Riding Hood mixed with kind of Chinese fashion. So it has like that kind of popped up little bit of collar and stuff that has little detail design work on it that goes down to the breast area. And then it has like nice silver detailing of like flowers. And then there's like a dark red hood that clasps around. And it goes all the way down to the knee, and it has slits that go just a little bit up, not to be too risque, but still a little risque since I am showing off some knee there, maybe a little thigh.
Not the knee. Scandalous.
There's ankle too.
Oh! our good Christian server. No. Hand
Our
holding!
Christian Minecraft server.
Oh, don't tell people about the rock exchanges. They can't handle it. Haley, you're next up in the overlay clockwork. Clockwise, that's the word there.
I am.
So-
I am indeed. Winnie is wearing. I can't remember what colours we decided on. I believe it was greys for the casual outfits, but it was like, was it
It also had
It was
some like
dark
that
greens,
dark
wasn't it?
olive, like sage green
Yes,
in there
yes,
as
yes,
well.
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Now I remember. I was like, what color? Because I was like, did I go with blues? And I was like, no, that was Merrick. And it like everyone kind of went like darker,
You
cool colors.
changed
Didn't
afterwards to go to the darker blues because you
Mm.
wanted to match Merrick's scales. You
Yeah.
were originally going to go with the sage green, and then you were like, what about like a midnight blue?
you? Yeah, yeah. So it's just like
But
a cute little.
those were like the accent colors to the dark grays
the
and
dark greens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's just wearing. And it's kind of like it's more like a blue base with that olive dark green tulle overlay. And then the sleeves are made out of a sheer material that have got a split all the way down, but then cuff back up at the wrists. And the dress is just like a few layered bits of material that like kind of swish as she flies around and such. She's washed her feet.
And there's little bits of sort of silver thread detailing that are like kind of hard and come to like points. So it's like, it's like that poisonous flower look where it's like, I shouldn't touch this. I should just look.
Yes.
And then Danny.
Trying desperately to remember what you said it looked like in the last episode.
Okay,
but I
yeah,
think-
because we were kind of half and half on this one. Yeah. So it was the stone giant like off. It wasn't like a toga, but it was like an asymmetrical
cut.
diagonal strong this way, and then like loose fabric.
Right. I'm thinking kind of like a long, like kind of monk-ish shirt with like those kind of like slightly puffy pants, but like in a nice like silky, not
With like
not
a
quite
belt
silky,
that
but
wrapped
like.
around your waist with like the two slits on the
Yeah.
side, sort of thing.
And then I think you said there was like a sash type thing all over it.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it has all the runes on it.
yes. And I also have a cuff that I can hold my
The leather bracer
That
that
I
has
can
like rocks
throw
in
at
it.
people.
Yeah. So you can have like pretty rocks,
Just in
or you could
case.
just have effective rocks.
Yeah, and I bet the effective rocks still look pretty. It's just a minimalist look.
Mhm.
We're gonna shine up your
And
rocks so that way they're all
any rock can be
Polished.
effective if I throw it hard enough.
yes.
Yeah.
Very
This
true.
is true.
We just gotta test the strength of all the gemstones that we come across and just like smack them on things. Be like, yep, that one's good.
I also the like detailing was like a shimmering like bioluminescence effect
Mhm.
for like the
Yes, I believe that was from Kazna. She included a little bit of that like sort of shimmering green. Or no, that was from Ammond. Yeah,
no,
the main.
that was yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I asked Chasma
For a
for the
cloak.
cloak.
Yes, you got a cloak. Yeah, so I think you, Winnie, and potentially Narkissa all got like dark silken cloaks as like
Mhm.
if you wanted to dress up your outerwear but still be like functional, you have those.
Yeah.
And then
Stuff freshen up.
last but not least,
Trifling
Merrick.
well.
Merrick is very shiny. She has all the accoutrements. Hers is a two-piece, more Indian flavored, cultured, where she's got the top half, and it's all embroidered and encrusted in jewels that look like flowers and vine work. And the bottom half is a very loose skirt that comes up into a sash that wraps around to rest on her wrist. It's all in blue and silver.
Very nice. Merrick has a brand. She is sticking to it. Gosh darn it.
A style.
I like that our coordinating color is kind of like a silverish gray. That seems to be
Mhm.
like the one thing we all have.
With those outfits, magical weapons, and tattoos all gathered, which, by the way, Bun, do you want to talk about your tattoo since you are referencing it in your minimalist cosplay?
I need to find a wig. I have so many. Basically, essentially, it is a kind of lacy look, like that's on the, what would you call it? The eyelid and the like kind of upper eye area, in order to work with the dark vision. Because originally, when Matt and I discussed it, it was going to be that I was going to have mono vision essentially. So like one eye can see in the daytime, one eye can see at nighttime, and that's why like the eye patch would like switch over and stuff too.
But you are not
But I
going
don't know
with the
what.
monovision. Instead, it's just the one eye has this like permanent lacy eyeshadow kind of look, and it's just normal dark vision, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, it's up to whatever you want to do, because I'm okay
yeah.
with doing the monovision.
I'm good. I'm
and
good
we'll
with
just,
it.
And I'll just switch my eye patch around, be like, oh, it's too bright.
It's
I
too
can see
bright.
it.
With all of your things gathered and fresh inked, you met back at the Ruby Cushion, and you were teleported away to the Shadespire. You arrived in a cozy, dark sitting room. Shelves and bookcases lined the walls, filled with eclectic objects, but not so much that they felt crowded. Each thing looks purposefully placed, as if someone it had some meaning to the collector. Papa, who stands in their black cloak, trimmed with purple, the hood drawn such that the only visible feature is a mask made of deep red wood depicting a swirl, a spiral, that leads to the singular eye. After a few moments of getting your bearings, you are each shown to rooms of your own, leaving the sitting room through a door that leads to this slightly curved and very uniform stonework hallway. Doors dot left and right sides, and you are each shown to various rooms. Your rooms are small but comfortable. Windveer's is a little bit more done up in sort of a styling like you would expect. There's vine growth and, some things that are reminiscent of your original room, but it is not the same one. For the others, it is pretty minimal. Each has a basic, cot-sized bed, a desk, and an armoire, and Papa lets you know that the rooms were left mostly blank as they were not sure of your preferences, but that any number of modifications within reason could be made, assuming you wish to stay here, that is. And the only noticeable difference between any of them is that Papa did take a little bit of a guess as to Mirik, whose armoire is slightly larger than all of the other ones. And there is space on the floor carved out for that giant chest you've been lugging around. With each of you shown to your rooms, Papa lets you know that dinner will be served in about an hour. But in the meantime, perfect timing for Haley, Windveer is pulled aside and taken towards another area of the long, she's back, another area of the long, slowly curving hallway. And as we saw last time, Papa gave her the chance to either be included or not included in the meeting with Grima, with the general idea that things could start becoming confusing for the Ranger in the coming months, and that she would need to be prepared to make choices Papa couldn't shield her from. You agreed, and the door that appeared behind Papa, seemingly non-existent before, opened, through which you see Grima Banesalt, the Duragar warlord, sitting and waiting at a table. This room is similar in size to the sitting room you're used to meeting with Papa in. It has a larger table and not nearly as much adornments on the walls.
I feel like Winnie has always watched Papa walk in through this secret door from 4 hallways away, just from looking, but then that's as close as she's ever gotten to this room, and now it's like walking in, she's like, ah.
And I would say in that case, it probably doesn't live up to expectations. It's fairly plain. There are flatware and plate sets and things to serve people on. It's a very host forward room, but none of it has it's lacking the personality of the sitting room. There's no little weird items or curios or anything like that.
There's no personality in it to give away any sort of inkling as to who this person is.
Correct. It is very business forward.
Too bad he's bringing in his biggest trinket.
And Grima is all smiles, very jovial, his classic self. He is very eager to get things started and starts rolling in very quickly. Although you can, there's immediately some banter that catches you as Papa offers tea and he accepts. And in dealing out that tea, they pour him a cup, and he's very quickly like, it's not poisoned, is it? even if I thought such a tactic would work. This is truly a meeting in good faith. I would not trample on Winvir's reputation so callously. And they offer you a cup of tea as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's the two of them sitting like properly on either side of the table, and Winnie is sitting on the table crisscross applesauce with a cup of tea and a saucer in her hands, just like
watching the tennis match.
Yeah, and she'll just be like, I can test the tea if you want, but it's fine.
No, I'm just kidding. Is it true you had a hand in ending Nightfall? Because I gotta say, I would have had fun curb stomping that fat dragoness myself. It was a small part to play. Not nearly as significant as pillaging Shracht Mona. What did you end up doing with all the adamantine you stole? Salvaged would be the word. I ain't no thief. No, I suppose thievery implies the original owners are still alive. And you can see that, like, this continues on for a little bit. That they are very clearly, they have a history of, like, near misses. Of where they've sort of crossed paths, but not truly. And they are...
best friends.
Yeah.
I never met one of Papa's friends before, so it's nice to meet you.
It's good to meet you as well. We've met before. Just, different circumstances.
I just mean, like, as in general, not right now.
Fair, yes. Indeed. It was very fortuitous meeting you as well, because you arranged for this entire meeting, which is, I'm very eager to, shall we say, cut to the chase and start putting some cards on the table? Papa's face is just the blank. And you'll notice that there is a teacup in front of them. It like the little wisps of smoke from the heat is pouring off of it, but they are clearly not drinking any. Ask.
I feel like it happens often where, like, they'll be having dinner, they'll be having breakfast, they'll be having lunch, and Papa will sit there through the entire meal and not touch any of the plate while Winnie eats her entire thing, and she's just like, all right, see you later. She's like never seen them eat or drink anything.
Entirely just normal Papa nonsense.
Yeah, that's cool.
Grima kind of leans in, clearly getting a little bit more interested and forward. What is it that has you out of your hidey hole so much these days? You're the one that wanted this meeting. Perhaps it should be you that plays the first trick for putting our cards on the table. And you can see he kind of doesn't like that. Like, there's a very much a, like, he has nothing to say to that would counter it. Like, he doesn't like the clear loss. He's feeling a bit on the low ground at the moment. Then at least a show of good faith, beyond not bothering with the poison. Let's have a true exchanging of names and faces. Pa seems frozen for a small while, but then their hand comes up, and you can see them sliding the mask off, the hood coming back with it. You see a pale face with a square jaw framed by curtains of unkempt, long black hair. A scar runs from the corner of the lips diagonally up across the left cheek. A cheek that at first glance looks cracked and dry, but on closer inspection is actually dotted with small, smooth scales. The scales become clearer once you see the eyes, bright green throughout, with pitch black vertical pupils. Were it not for the eyes, you might think nothing of the face before you, just a lowly peasant, lost and afraid in a world too big and too horrifying. But the eyes have an unsettling vigor to them. Without the mask, Winvir is able to pick up on just a subtle bit of femininity in the features, and the voice seems a little softer as she says, I am the one many call the Moon's Eye Mistress. Any truer name than that will need to wait until we better understand each other. Aye, I can understand that. Well, Touché. You know me, I'm Grimma if I don't wear a mask. Not saying any judgment, but I certainly have kept to the shadows just a little bit. I am tired of a world ruled by puppet masters. I don't care for the gods. I feel that they occupy thrones we didn't give them. They just took them. They've done nothing for our world except allow it to limp along, squandering infinite power on petty squabbles, while failing to deal with anything of substance. If royalty don't serve, then off with their heads. I'd like to kill them. All of them. She leans forward, putting her chin up on steepled fingers. And how do you plan on doing such a thing? I'm to give you everything without a morsel? Come now. Fair. I believe we are kindred spirits. The gods offer nothing to mortals but false hope and machinations. While they are not my enemy, I would gladly see them fall, if it were to hasten the fulfillment of my own goals. I want to see an end to all suffering. To create an idyllic world without disease, without starvation, poverty, thirst, not even death. A true utopia. And how might you be achieving such a thing? Papa glances over towards Winnie very quickly, just like a small dart of the eye, and then back over to Grimma. Suffice to say that I will require a single exception to your desires of purgation. But more than that, I think we can wait to share our hows until we have a better sense of trust. You can see Grimma's fingers kind of like idly tapping, but they're not so idle, it's more anxiousness. He's very curious, but he knows that if she answers that question, he's going to have to start answering a lot more questions, and he's not quite sure if he's ready for that. We know enough to know we gain more together than against, aye? I agree. And I think the best way forward is to simply not bother each other until such a time as it is apparent that the other might have something of material advantage. In exchange of favors? Papa gets up, walks around the edge of the table, and extends a gloved hand. Grimma smiles, and then shakes. Aye. Each owing one to the other, and once settled, maybe we see what else we can have of this union. They then fall back into sort of idle chatter. Is there anything you're wanting to do, Winveer?
No, I think I just take in Papa's face for the first time, and I'm like paying full attention to being able to see emotion for the first time, if any. Like, so I'm like looking for micro expressions,
yeah,
and any sort of like understanding as to what I'm seeing in front of me for the first time in my whole life.
Give me an insight check.
I don't have any. Sorry.
Dice? I didn't know I need dice.
I didn't know I'd need dice. No, I got a. Wait, what type of roll?
Insight.
And I got an 8.
Okay.
This is a new face. I don't know how to read it.
It's a new face. It's very strange. I will say that you don't know anything real, but that's part of what you know, is that it's Papa is very clearly, despite the mask, like you'd think like, oh, this person wears a mask all the time. Maybe they just have a bad poker face. Very good poker face. Very little is seeping through. It looks practiced. There is smiles at the right times. There is frowns at the right times. Nothing is obtrusive.
So within 8, did I not pick up the looking at me when they spoke about a certain thing? Or
No, you picked that up. That was for...
I definitely... Okay, cool.
You saw that.
Perfect. Cool. Noted. I pretty much stay silent and just backwards tennis watching the conversation as they do it and absorbing as much as possible about Grimmer and what they say in case they not slip up, but like, you know when conversations are flowing, you can say too much and or not enough, and I'm listening.
Grimmer is also they're both back in like business chat mode.
Yeah.
They've had their moment of vulnerability together and they've quickly moved past it. And so shields are back up. It's very cordial. Eventually,
meeting one would
gonna
be like this. We'll see how it goes from here.
The meeting draws to a close, and this part catches you oddly. Papa gestures towards the door that's been behind her the whole time. Feel free to see your way out. You will not find any sort of horribleness stopping you from leaving. Hey, no poison tea and no creepy, weird-ass fucking mammoth zombies. Great. This is a much better meeting than our last one. I'll tell you that. Winveer, it was good seeing you. And he walks out the door, and...
Take care of Daya, please.
Will do. She's doing fantastic. They're doing fantastic work. No worries there. Absolutely. They've even sort of... You know what? They've done such a good job. I'll tell you this. We're even letting Vitapel off the chain occasionally. Even though... It's odd. They didn't actually seem that keen on that. I don't know what the relationship is between those. Although Vitapel seems to like him, so I don't know. Anyways.
As long as they're happy.
They are. They're happy and busy in a happy way. They're a worker.
Perfect. Bye.
He opens the door and leaves, and you see, for a second, you are blinded. It is immediately like sun off of snow straight into your eyes, and it is just blinding white outside the door.
It's not outside what outside should be.
Well, it is outside.
It is outside? Have I seen outside here?
You have not seen outside here.
No.
You have no
I'm
idea
looking.
where the Shadespire is.
I'm
and so,
looking,
you see a vast tundra. Just snow, and it's actively snowing, and you actually see it like kind of at an angle from a hard wind. You see Grimma's like hair like me like whips to the angle, and yes, some snow does actually fall into the little bit in front of the door. Do you get some?
Yes, I do. I do immediately. But once the door's closed, I don't go over there until I kind of don't cross the table, until Grim is gone.
Papa closes the door. You come over and get the snow. It is real. It is cold. It is very quickly melting in your hands.
What's this?
That is snow. Crystallized water.
Where did it come from?
Well, the sky. It is, rain, correct? This
the
is
corpses.
not the corpses. Sometimes it rains water. Small droplets.
Yeah, no, I think I have experienced rain with water as well.
Good.
I'm sure.
This is what happens when it rains and it's particularly cold. The Shadespire is located in the Arctic.
Ah. Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Winnie, I would like you to know that not many people know the title Moon's Eye Mistress, and some that do would not regard it highly. So, be careful who you mention it to.
I won't share it. I imagine it's a secret for a reason. It was nice seeing your face.
It was nice being able to show my face.
When he doesn't press any further and just kind of nods and is probably a bit overwhelmed with all of this in this short amount of time. It feels like a lot of vulnerability from this person that has never shown it to them. So she's like, all right, I'm gonna go pass out now from this emotional stress. If you need anything from me, don't. Bye.
She moves over to the table and once again dons the mask, scooting the hair out of the way, pulling the hood up, back into impossible to tell mode.
Does the hair look soft? Their hair looks soft?
Hmm?
Or does it look ratty and like, I'm just trying to like picture it in my head.
It's
of,
like
how well kempt they are underneath the hood and such.
It's unkempt in a way of like, she clearly doesn't style it, right? And without the mask on, she does use she, her pronouns. I've slipped like 3 times on stream.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a slip or if it was just like, yeah.
It was a slip, yeah. Yeah, it's unkempt in the way that like, she doesn't brush it probably. She doesn't comb it. She's not trying to style it in any way. It just falls where it will. But it is nice. It maybe wouldn't say soft. Maybe it's a little bit on the dry side, but very long and elegant hair. If you think that if she were to like do something with it and wear a different kind of outfit, that she could very easily be a gorgeous person.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, I think Winnie thinks that they're beautiful. She's beautiful no matter what. But I think that like, yeah, she's just gonna think about, I don't know why, but like, she's just like, oh, her hair was beautiful, pretty much. Like, and then she just, disappears. She's not going to make any of these comments out loud. I feel like she thinks that it's hidden for a reason, whether or not, like, it's for identity purposes or if it's for, like, I don't know. It could be any of all reasons, so Winnie's not interested in talking about something that's covered. So, yeah.
I rolled decent for her insight. She does look at you as she gets the mask and is about to put it on. If you have any questions, I cannot guarantee I'll always answer, but you can ask them.
If I think of any questions, I will remember that.
Very well. Slides the mask back on. And if my talking is not doing a good enough job, picture's worth 1,000 words. I did post a screenshot of what her face looks like in the Tales Does Tales channel over on our Discord. Plug, Premiere, link in chat. And with that,
Ooh,
Winnie,
very cool.
you return to the
I actually want
hallway.
to visit the library first.
Okay. It is getting close to dinner time. Did you want to try and squeeze something in before going to dinner?
No, I'll just go to dinner then. If it's close to dinner, I'll go to dinner and then I will go to the library after.
Cool. And this dinner, everyone is invited to. So now, haha, you're all... thank you for waiting, the other 3 players in the little RP timeout box. You are all invited
Lore.
to... Lore!
I've just been making faces,
Yeah.
so...
Just reacts in the background.
I was thinking about eating my pizza in the background, but I'm like, no, be good.
Be good. Hold. You are all invited to the sitting room again. There is genuinely like a feast. Like it's a pretty good spread of food available. Papa's there, masked, hooded. And you are free to do whatever you like. If there's Papa makes it clear that it's like eat whatever you'd like. If you have any questions for me, I know that we were only able to talk briefly before.
Mirik absolutely spent that meeting time putting all of the beds together in Winnie's room. Just like, none of this singular cot bullshit. No, come here.
I will lend a hand. Narcisse is probably just going to alter her room into being her little study. So there's just papers all over the walls.
Amazing.
There's like one
Mirik's
side
room
for...
is now just her dressing room. All we need it
There we go. We got the
for.
dressing room. We got the research room. Okay, what's... what did we do?
Pebble
with
has
your room?
just fully moved into Winnie's room. There's like nothing in
There's
there.
nothing in the other room.
Pebble, like, I don't think Pebble even like realized like, oh, that's supposed to be my room. Like she just followed into Winnie's room.
Amazing.
She didn't have anything.
Would y'all bring any of the... Papa would ask, like, how are the rooms? Would y'all bring any of this up in terms of intent
Oh.
for. No, okay.
I got a lot of wall space in my room, and I really appreciated that. I needed so much for all my maps and research materials.
Hmm.
I think Pebble looks very confused when Papa asks.
What do you mean, my room?
What do you mean, my room? What is that?
Rooms.
Our room.
There's one room.
I wish I had a soundboard for the fucking Soviet.
It's me. I am your
I
soundboard
am
now.
your soundboard. Amazing. Amazing. Is there anything else you would like to talk about as dinner is in its very casual?
I mean, we could very much bring that up. Oh, how's the rooms? There's only one room.
There's one sleeping room.
Other rooms?
If that is how you would prefer it, it can certainly be arranged.
It has been.
I mean, properly.
Fine.
Oh, well, we're certainly
we're
capable of
go-getters.
making use of the space.
Like I said, I converted my ex-bedroom into a research room. I figured that could give myself and Mirik a nice place to do our studies.
It is good to see that you have initiative. This is a good quality.
Yes.
I just
Yeah,
don't
but-
like being bored.
Do you have a
Okay.
training room?
I do. Yes. If you would like to make use of it, it can be arranged. I can even provide foes and adversaries, should you desire.
Oh, how do you do that?
Well, some of them are conjured, pulled here from elsewhere. Some of them are created. Some of them are captured.
Oh.
Oh.
Pebble says, oh, but just like, does not get it at all.
No, that sounds about right. That's how you do that.
Those
I
are the
was
three
really hoping it
options.
wasn't going to be the third option, but you know.
Those are the three options, yeah.
I mean, that's how you get, proper training done. I don't know why you would think it'd be against anything else.
Yeah, I guess.
Flashback to our very first pre-stream session when there was literally a Papa's Danger Room session. There was just combat and some like silly puzzles and stuff. But yes, that is available to you should you desire. I also have some research materials. There is time between now and when I would ask something of you. I can provide you with that information now if it would help to inform your time, but I did not want to take all of it. You could feel free to use this time between now and 4 days from now, however you wish.
Having the ability to prepare ahead of time would be best, so we're not caught off guard.
In that case, I can let you know what it is I have in store for you, assuming that you want to do it.
We
There's-
did buy dresses, so at this point we're locked in.
Very well. I am in the business of making big changes. To do so, I require allies, but not all allies can be acquired through the means of a single person. As impressive as one's own abilities might be, it is often important to show that those who work for you are equally impressive. There is a party of sorts coming up in 4 days' time. Cackling Agnes Pigtooth is hosting one of her big get-togethers. And she, along with several of her guests, are of interest to me. I would like you to go, make merry, break bread, but most importantly, recruit most, if not all, of these individuals to an allegiance with me by proxy of you.
And what would be the purpose of this allegiance? If we are to sell it to them, we must know what we are selling.
The purpose of the allegiance would be towards positive change in the multiverse. And I realize that is vague, so I leave it to you to figure out a way of dealing with these folks in a simple way. Most of them understand the idea of equivalent exchange of favors. They could also understand, like yourselves, the idea that working with me is potentially far more enjoyable than working against me.
What about if we host a huge wedding?
You know, we haven't really hosted our wedding.
A
Way
wedding?
to bring people together. You never read about a wedding.
Did we not already exchange?
So we had the official like sort of stuff, but this is just the ceremony. So this way we can kind of show off the horde, so to say.
Ah,
You know, kind of show off.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm getting better at translating this.
I would be cautious on stepping on presentory toes with Cackling Agnes. She likes her party to be about her, primarily. Not that this isn't a good idea on its own merits, I was just cautioning combining the two.
No, yeah. I figure it was more of an extended invitation to do something big to get it all sorted. But if it's their party already, then that sounds silly.
I do not know much about what motivates any of these individuals. I have only caught wind of their names and their personas as being potentially helpful to me. I leave it in your hands to ascertain what would gain their allegiance and whether or not you can do it. But it's a party, and from previous experience, as limited as it may be, I'm under the impression that Agnes throws a wild one, so they say. So guards might be a little bit lower.
No dying.
Okay.
There are... Let me count. 1, 2, 3. There are 6 individuals in total that I would like to get in my good graces. There's Agnes herself, but she will be trickier. She's one that might follow Clout, but isn't going to be the first one to cave. Not unless you have something extraordinarily advantageous on her. As for the others, there is Glavla. There's a green slod who leads a small hatchery that is currently unsworn to any greys. There's Chikrik, Durgaloth, who is extremely power-hungry and prideful, and is looking to do damage to his fellow Yugoloths, but is without the means to do so. Crowdus is a Fenseer. I'm not sure much about him, but a presence in the Ordning would be very useful for me. Yadel is a Glabrazu that recently had a falling out with the demon lord Fraz Urblu. But it's rare that such a dealing doesn't result in extermination. She might know some things that could make her valuable. And finally, there is a Rhaegar named Bodil. It's rare to find a celestial with bendable morals, but I believe Bodil to be one such entity. I know for a fact they will be there. It's just a matter of you finding ways of making an allegiance with me, or employment, whatever phrasing fits there, appetizing to them. And I believe if you are able to get enough of them onto your side, that might just be enough to have Agnes swayed as well. She is impressed by people who are impressive. any questions?
Ooh, is this like an underground sort of party? Like, should I look into my contacts? Or is this an upright shindig?
If it can be both, it is both. It is at Cackling Agnes's estate, which is slope side of Gehenna.
Okay. I'll
Want
see
us
if
to
any of.
secure this partnership at this party, or is this a reconnaissance? Or do you have dossiers on each of these people so we can learn their bits and bobs before we go?
I've informed you of what I know about them.
Okay.
I can give you paper copies of all of my notes, but it is not much else than what I've shared already. But it might be helpful for you to have the spelling of their names and all of those details written down.
Yeah.
So I'll be sure to post that to the
and
server
maybe just what
later.
they do, just what they publicly do.
Server.
So we can bring up conversations with start a conversation with something.
Sure. This party might be a little bit different than what you expect of material plane parties. These are individuals whose essence and being is very, primal, is I suppose a good way of saying it.
I've only ever read about parties, so I think it's going to be new for me no matter what.
That is true. Well, you'll have a very biased experience, but I think a good one, in terms of what your understanding of parties are.
We'll see.
I will say for Cackling Agnes, I've dealt with her small amounts in the past. She enjoys wagers. She is power hungry. And she has a weakness for riddles. But I don't know much else about her beyond that. She is very closely guarded with any sort of intimate connections. If such things exist, I do not know of them.
Alright. No close family?
None that I know of.
Interesting. Alright. Okay. Do I... Am I going in as your daughter?
You can, should you wish.
Alright. Winnie's feeling chuffed with herself. She just glosses over everything else that's said in the rest of this conversation now, so she's just like la 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 la. Winnie's world.
Alright, so put those papers in the research room. Gotta find some contacts.
With that, unless there are any questions, I leave you to it. If at any point you need me, simply ring that bell, and she gestures over towards a small bell that's on one of the shelves in this room. In the meantime, I leave you to it. And they get up and start to walk out of the room.
Good night.
Good night. And walks out. So, this is me interjecting as GM. You now have essentially 4 days of downtime. So, if there is anything you'd like to focus on during that time, speak up. What would you like to do? It could be anything from like researching the people you just heard about to just like hanging out with Papa and figuring out more about what that's going on to anything else. I will say that when you return to your rooms that night, the Winnie's room is now like the cots are gone and have been replaced by a rather lavish like circular bed that is just in the middle. And there's little like desks in the four corners that are sort of like wash basins kind of things. The map/research room, Narcissus X room, has even like more things to hold stuff in. It's not necessarily been populated with maps, but there are those like X things that can
Yep.
like hold scroll
shelves.
work really well. Those shelves, yeah. So there's lots of those, tacks on the wall, you know, red string, all that good stuff.
Ready to go.
Oh, excellent. Do we got a whiteboard? Do we get a whiteboard or one of those like clear
fantasy
boards?
chalkboard. There's the fantasy equivalent of a whiteboard in there, yeah.
Chalk would exist, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing's been done with Pebble's room. It looks like it's just a blank space. Although, actually saying that,
We only
there
need
is-
the 2 rooms.
there's a small
And I'll
mat,
write
and
your
then
name.
and then Myric's room is a like walk-in closet room. That is
Yeah,
its
it's
new
the
purpose.
wardrobe now.
Yeah.
It just is the wardrobe.
Yes.
Perfect.
More
And it's got that like,
clothes.
it's got that dope, like you're truly swagalicious with your closet sizes island in the island, or like in the closet that has like storage for like jewelry and loot and all this kind of crap.
And there's
all
like
that
a couple of chase lounges
Yes,
like around
yes.
it. Yeah. Beautiful, lovely, lavish. Love it. Can I try and find a globe or a world map or a
Yes, you can.
however they just depict this world that we live in
Mhm.
in the library, please?
Yes, you absolutely can. There is one that is just there. You know where it is. It is, because I love Terry Pratchett. It is a disc world. It is not a sphere.
Cool.
It
Perfect.
is just flat, and the edges of it are defined not by necessarily the end of the disc. It is unknown if the disc is infinite. If those edges, those are just the most explored and well-known edges, and that's kind of
And
just
is it
where
like-
knowledge stops.
Is there anything underneath, or is it just a flat? Like, is it just always on paper? Or
It's
is
just
there
always
an
on
actual-
paper, or it is a this modeling is like 3-dimensional. It is like the equivalent of a globe. It's just sort of like held like a cut gem with like
Yeah, yeah.
like that.
Perfect.
There's nothing
I
on the
love that.
bottom in terms of purposefulness.
I just
but
was I was curious if it was like for some reason in my brain I was like,
That's
yeah,
where
you
the
can
turtle
flip it.
goes.
that's where the turtle goes. Yeah, it does have that cool like orrery like magnifying glass, so that you can like move it around and point it at different parts of the map and like zoom in, and it's got a lot more detail close up.
Very cool. I spent a long time looking for all the areas that are snow.
Give me an investigation check.
21.
What was that number?
21.
21. I thought I heard 31. I was like,
No, I didn't roll high enough.
No, that's all. I mean,
No,
that
no,
is
I can't make it to 30.
that is high.
Yet.
Just.
Of all of the areas on the map, there are 3.5, 4 that kind of stand out as having at least some depiction of either permanent snow, or at least like that's their kind of shebang.
Yeah. Even if I spend time looking up areas to
yes.
figure out where the
You
snow,
can
like
confirm,
I will actually spend time doing that. I
would
wasn't
say-
sure if we were just gonna list the things that we were gonna do over this time, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
I'd say this is a short enough research that it's not counting against downtime. You could do this before you tuck into bed.
Cool.
The main areas, Kakuset has a little bit of snow. We're familiar with that from Grimace Fist. That is the land of floating isles. It is to the south west, basically, of everywhere that you just were in. Like, imagine for Winnie getting her bearings, you might have looked for Inari's Tears and like the Stone Tooth and stuff. So you're kind of, I'll use that as like a respective location for all the other things.
Yeah.
Where that is, where Kudrakar was, the Stone Tooth, is within the same sort of like continental country boundary as where the Sunless Citadel was. Sunless Citadel was in the like wastes, in these craglands, about a couple, maybe 100 miles southwest of where the Stone's Tooth was. So pretty close together. Far southwest of that is Kakuset. There's a little bit of snow there. To the northwest, there are the King's Peaks. That is very, in terms of like aesthetically, very Viking, very Nordic style of area. That is actually where we saw the Pebble sort of one shot that we did. That was in the King's Peaks. And then much further west is Jotunheimer, There is snow there, but there's also a lot of like the equivalent cartographical notation of question marks. It's just like not a lot is known there.
Oh, I could fill that in.
You could fill that in.
It's just smooth part of carving.
Yeah.
Like there's like all detail, and it just becomes a little bit less like worked on in that area.
There is way to the south.
That she's like, that doesn't look right.
And Papa used the word Arctic or no, what did they use?
Arctic.
No. Oh wait, Arctic.
Arctic.
Yeah.
Arctic. So like, does that give me any like narrowing downs of this at all?
We're getting there.
We're getting there.
We're
That's
getting
cool.
there.
I just was curious as to like, yeah, if I could cut it down to a couple cutler.
Couple of places. I'm trying to find. There's one thing. Darn it. Okay, I can't find it real quick in my notes, but there's another area way far south on the other side of like a big ocean expanse. That is an extended archipelago. It's like all of these islands that are extremely broken up and like jagged and shattered. And then there's a couple of like snowy areas in there. The most defined one is actually on the eastern part of the world. So far northeast, basically opposite side of the map, at least east-west style of where the dungeons have been. There is a very large expanse of snow. So that is sort of jumping out to your mind as like, if there was a snowy place, that seems pretty bang on. You would certainly decry, and areas do describe that region as being Arctic.
Cool. Noted. I have a little pocket map that I circle that area and I put that back in my little pocket survival kit.
Excellent. So yeah, that was a pretty quick endeavor. Is there anything, what would be y'all's focus during this time?
Researching the people. At least for Narcissa, she'd be getting at least the kind of shady underground bits on these people, considering they got some really weird tag names. Somebody's got to know something.
Sure.
He's doing research on relationships and what that entails. So like, she'd be finding like either like love stories, but like not the meeting of the love stories, the continuation of the love stories, trying to find stuff like that, and or textbooks on literal marriage. And she just wants to read and find different bits and pieces, whether it's cultural or other bits that she just wants to learn as much as she can.
I love this. This is so good.
The people are boring. That's what I have wives for.
Yeah, you already got one wife who's just like, well, time to get to work.
Yeah,
my nerd
exactly.
shit.
I'm like, I'm the one that's bringing everyone cups of tea and refreshments in between my own little research that means nothing to the
You're the
benefit
support
of the
wife.
Yeah.
I don't think Pebble is also in on the research. Like, they're like, oh, everyone, Narcissa and Merrick are so much smarter than I am. I'm just gonna leave this to them. This is not where I belong.
We fetch things. I know where things are. I can go get that for you. I can grab that. I know where that is.
Nice.
Let me help.
If
all productiveness, but
if Pebble can't, just because I want to utilize my cooking specialty, maybe make snacks or something somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Is there anything specific that you could absolutely just cook? You could be into that?
I do remember, I think Winnie saying that Papa might know more about the mini Topies, so I think Pebble would go looking for Papa.
Okay. Sort of getting to know Papa, at least starting, and that might hook into something depending.
I feel like he's got a red light, green light system in his office, at their office. So like, when the light is on, it means that it's okay to just knock and go in and interrupt whatever they're doing. But if the light's off, then you're not supposed to go in.
And
Unless for
Mirek.
emergencies.
Mirik is absolutely rifling through this library to see if there are any spare spells.
Okay.
What do we have here in your books?
Yes.
You are a magic person. You have
Mhm.
books somewhere on the magic.
I love it. So let's start off with an initial round of checks. We're just gonna play hot potatoes. So I want to do let's just do Winnie intelligence. I don't know what skill this should fall under, but let's just do intelligence. Narcissa, give me an Arcana check, because that's, or actually religion. Well, a lot of these creatures are gonna fall under religion. Hey, welcome Raiders, welcome Orc Skull.
Hello.
We're just in the middle of a sort of like downtime, exploration, researchy kind of bit here. Pebble, give me. Actually, Pebble will do yours just as an RPC. I don't know what I want you to roll for
Not
that
my
yet.
cheese.
And then
I mean, they could do sleight of hand for making snacks.
making snacks, yeah. Mirek, give me. This will be investigation check. So going back
Damn,
around the
I wish I
bend.
could help you, wife.
Windveer,
Oh
what do you
no,
got?
I'm good.
I got a 14.
14? Papa's library does not have a ton. They haven't caught up with Akatar. There's not a lot of romance going on in these
Yeah.
pages. But
Which is fine. I just wanted to see what I could find.
there is a little bit. It's very dry. There's not a lot of sort of like the fiction side of things. But there are notions of like marriage, kids. Like there's tales of various
Ooh,
people.
That's
and
okay.
Yeah.
That we figured out that part. We're going to do extra research on that, and we're picking up extra keywords, which then
Mhm.
find new books.
Yes.
As
So
to
I would
what
say
that means.
I would say that Winnie has a very good understanding of what happens in the fade to black scenes of the various other forms of media, and is at least
Wow.
caught up on some of those loosely aligned with marriage kind of topics, but you know, people are people.
Yeah. No, it's not. But it just happened to fit into the category of the book.
Yes.
Not it that it's required sort of.
Exactly.
information.
And would have I think a classic understanding of like the high bullet points of like what exactly does happily ever after mean. I think she'd have a decent grasp of that. So like, you know,
Very fairy tale style.
very fairy tale style, it's through the lens of like history books and biographies, and so it's like it's maybe a little watered down and simplistic, but the general notion of like support each other, keep each other happy, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. All the good stuffs.
All the good stuffs. Narcissa, what'd you get for religion?
15.
15. I would say that's enough to. Are there any of those names? I'll do the names again. There's Bodil, who is a Rygar, Glavla, a green slod, Chikrik, a Durgaloth, Crowdus, a Fenseer. By the way, I'm saying a Fenseer as in article noun, not a Fenseer, a like proper noun like last name. A Fenseer, and then Yadel, a Glabrezu. And then there is also, although that with that roll you wouldn't have enough for Cackling Agnes. Are there any of those that are jumping out that you would like to know more about? I'd say that's enough. That's a high enough of a roll that you've been able to like drill in on one of them pretty well, but not a lot of them.
I'm gonna go with the deity with bendable morals.
The Celestial with Bendable Morals, yeah. Let's see here, let me pull that up. So, a Rygar. Excuse me. Oh, again, that coffin is just killing me. So, this Bodil fellow is, I will actually post a picture to the Tales Does Tales chat over on the server. Or at least I'll try to. I'm doing it from D&D Beyond, so it's always hit and miss whether or not the copy image button works well. Tales Does Tales.
For our raiders who just came in, I just included the Discord. There you go. Boop.
Hey, join us on the Discord. You
Please
can
join us.
Chat about our shows. So,
Ooh.
that is a Rygar.
Yeah, wait. Trigger warning for trivia.
Yeah, little.
Little trigger warning.
Small thing.
Small.
Just a little.
Fits with the Eldritch
Rygars.
horror.
Rygars are celestials that were created when cephalopods, octopi, were sort of elevated into like angelic form. They are artists, but their artistry can span pretty much everything from like actual warfare. They look at warfare as like a divine art to crafting, pottery, literal art forms. They value artistic expression, and so they tend to like hyper focus on these kinds of things. They also carry magic items called Talarith, which are these sort of like totemic objects that they create for themselves and are unique to them and that only they can attune to. Losing them is not like a huge deal, but it does take away some of their abilities. One of the things I believe that they could do is that they could actually like duplicate themselves. So they could sort of like shadow clone jutsu, make another copy of themselves that functions identically but has a few immunities, and they like to use that to either help them in craft or to do battle, those kinds of things. And they do have some innate spell casting. They can like teleport, they've got some enchantment spells, that kind of stuff. So that is what a Rygar
this one
is.
isn't Gaya's ancestor.
It is not. Daya's ancestor is actually, there's a picture on our private cast server.
Okay.
Daya's ancestor, Vidipel, is way more in like the insectoid realm of celestials. Very like clockwork grasshopper, but not
Gotcha.
like Hopper from A Bug's Life.
Can we
that
change
style of like
them?
humanoid
Like,
stature.
just give her this one instead.
Nope, you get to deal with the octopus boy.
I think Daya would like this one better.
I
Just
will
give
say,
you
looking
another
at,
creator.
looking at the art, I didn't realize that those look like holes. I think they're meant to be spots, not holes in
Yeah.
their skin all over.
No, but it just looks like it when you
Yeah.
look at the picture
Yeah.
immediately. So I thought I'd just say something.
Yep.
Because
Just in
that's
case.
what it made me think
Good-
of immediately.
Good to have a warning. Yes,
I
They
figured
do-
they were like eyeballs or something.
Yeah. I thought that they were eyeballs and it was a biblically accurate angel.
Biblically
Yes,
accurate
fine.
angel, yes. They do have a very sort of like otherworldly quality to them. There's another example of a different face on there that has like the vertical striping, like
Yes,
some
yeah.
octopuses
Yeah,
have, and their hair is sort of like it's aerialing
Wavy.
all the time. It does that flowing like it's in water kind of thing.
That's very cool.
Mhm.
And they do specialize in
Looks
tridents.
like bruises.
And what
They're-
was this person's name? Sorry,
Bodil,
Bodil.
Bodil.
Bottle, bottle,
Bottle. Hey, GameStop is a sponsor. Click our affiliate link and hodl, diamond hands. I'm such an idiot.
Dang, I
All
almost made a
plugs
JoJo
today.
reference.
And Danny. Interacting with Papa, I will say the first thing you notice is that, not to stomp on Haley's good joke, because it was a very funny joke, there's no office. Like, I think Winveer is very used to finding Papa in, like, the library that's accessible on this level. It's also just really weird. I know what to do here. Give me a survival check. I know what roll to make here.
Okay.
You gotta find your way through the maze.
I think I accidentally put my dice down, but I don't
No.
know where. It's okay. I have
Let's
another one.
pray you know the Dewey Decimal System.
Everything is alphabetical by
13.
author.
13? I won't give you too much, but I will just say there's something fucky with the layout. Like, everything is in this, like, there's one hallway, and it theoretically gets to every single room, and there's just something not adding up about it to you. It's just a really weird, like, it's like you went downstairs but wound up on the same floor. It's got that kind of like deja vu, like weird topography feeling. But you're having you're struggling to exactly grasp like what's giving you that feeling. It's just kind of like bugging you at the back of your mind. But you do notice that Papa's kind of like a ghost, like not really around. until you actually like go and use that bell, in which case Papa's just like walks into the study or the sitting room from one of the two doors that comes in and out of this room. Yes. What did you need?
Hi. Yeah. So, when you told me I might be able to, you might know more about the many-tailed demon.
Many-tailed demon.
Yeah. Or many-tailed. This might be Danny. You're fucking up in my brain.
Beast.
It was
Beast.
Beast, I
There we
think.
go.
What makes you interested in this topic?
I think it gives me my magic, and it wants to talk to me, but I'm really not getting what exactly it wants.
Oh, give me an insight check, please.
Okay. Oh. I'm apparently blind. I put it back in my... it's just there. Okay. Ooh. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. The pause is unusually long, but you're not catching anything else. And Papa very quickly escorts you. I think I might have some things on them.
Okay.
Takes you to a room.
Thanks.
Takes you to like opens the door. You're like, oh, I'm in the library. But Mirik and Winvir aren't there, and they've like that's where they've been hanging out. And so it's like, oh, I guess they're on a break or something. And you do see just scrolls and books and scrolls. It very quickly becomes labyrinthine as you go further and further into this room. And they lead you to a little spot where there's like a clearing, and hung up on a wall, there is this depiction of a sort of like bestial, somewhere wolf, fox, like just general furry hunter kind of thing, in sort of a swirl diagram with all of these tails branching off of it and like completing the swirl. They are creatures of power. It's difficult to say more specifically than that, but are you comfortable reading and doing research?
Sort of. It's not really my area. I'm not really used to reading a whole lot. You remember home we didn't have a lot of books.
More of an oral tradition.
Yeah, there was some scrolls, but it wasn't like if you wanted to know anything, you would go to, the seer or
Fair. Well,
parents.
they reach up and pull one of the tomes off of the shelf and hand it over. The title is Denizens of the Dreamlands. This is a fairly shallow primer. I do not expect you to read all of it, but you should be able to leaf through, find some basics in there. If you have questions or need more, feel free to search me out.
Thank you.
They start to go and then pause, come back. Yes?
Have you ever come across one before?
Not personally, no.
Oh, okay. Did you need to ask me something?
I was just going to say, if you leave this room, you won't be able to get back into it without me. So just only leave once you're ready to go.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Pebble's trying to like mentally add this to the fucked up map in their brain.
Give me another survival check, just for funsies.
11.
11. Yep,
There's
it's just the map is weird. The mental map is very strange, and yeah, you're just having a hard time piecing it together. But if you'd like to,
Understand magic.
if you'd like to focus
If
your
you don't think
downtime,
about it, it doesn't matter.
don't worry about it. If you would like to focus your downtime on researching tailed beasts, you could make a roll for that. I would say that would be Arcana. And in the meantime, I'm going to move over to Mirik. How did you do on your investigation check?
I have a 23.
23. There is a lot of like lore books. It's a well-stocked library. I would say Mirik knows when they're being shown the front library and not the back library, and is very much giving front library vibes.
You've not earned access to the back key.
There is very much this feeling of like, okay, Papa's clearly like a spellcaster of some sort. They've teleported multiple times, and that seems like NBD to them. There's not a spell scroll. There's not a spell book. There's not books on like, there's basic like spell craft books, but there's nothing that would list spells in its pages. None of that is in this library, which feels like a purposeful absence, not a accident, not like a, oh, it's just not here.
Oh yeah, no. No, it's we're seeing how far we can trust you, and the fact that you're looking at all tells me something.
Mm-hmm. What would you like to do with that information? That did not take your entirety.
I was gonna say, and then Pebble comes back with a book that you've not seen before from a place that you don't know about it. Wait a second. Oh, wait a second.
With that, we will see what books he has in this front library on my home plane. Be like, all right, so how much do you know about us then?
Ah, okay.
You've already said you're not super familiar, but
Yes.
see what you're willing to show how familiar you are.
Give me an Arcana check. Or actually, I'll just roll that investigation check forward, because that's basically you're cataloging what's in this front library, and you just had like 2 places that you were starting off with. So I'd say it's part of the same check. There is a lot of things you would expect to find at like a college setting, a place of high learning, where it's like Draconovus must exist. We see too much evidence of it. Here's what we know about like the things that protect it and the things that keep it hidden, and the few encounters with people that say, yep, I'm from there. It's all of that kind of information, which is on the order of like half a dozen books. It's not a small amount. It seems pretty thorough, but it doesn't feel like that's not the area of expertise in this library. And I would say that the area of expertise in this library, if there was to be one, would be, it's almost, I'd actually say that there isn't one. It is more of like a
Picture books.
It's picture books, yeah. It's very much general knowledge, and specifically like, you would call it exemplar tomes. It's like, oh yeah, that is the book that everyone reads about that subject. It's not specialized knowledge, it's just the one that hits the big notes. It's all of those books.
We're getting all of the cliff notes.
Yes.
On many subjects.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that this is how Winnie has taught herself a lot of things. Like, you literally will come across things and be like, I think I've heard Winnie say that sentence word for word before. Like,
Okay, then we have one last thing to check.
And to honor a previous knowledge roll, just in terms of like who knows what, Winveer does know that there is another library. So at some point it would be very easy, not just for you to guess based on like, well, stuff isn't here. You could also probably just ask Winnie, like, is there another library? Like, she would know.
We're not trying to push, loyalties quite yet. I've made the connection. At some point I'll ask her, but we'll let her. If she comes to the conclusion of, oh, there are more books this way, then we can see what goes from there.
So what would you want the rest of your sort of like main downtime focus to be? Which can be, by the way, if you want to like dive into something that you think is in the back library, you can ask. Nothing's stopping you.
Oh, we're not asking.
Okay.
No. I'll find it a different way. I don't need to rely on him.
I'll ask.
Yep. Yeah.
When he said to ask, so I'm gonna go and ask.
I love it so much. So what is Merrick focused
We're playing varying levels of chess here.
Pebble's eating the pieces.
on? Yeah.
Shovel's just like, this is chocolate, right? Yes? Okay.
Can I get Winnie to do an insight check to see if she notices Merrick getting border and border with the quality of book that they're finding?
I'll absolutely allow that. Yeah, Merrick, if you want to oppose, you can do that.
You know what? We will try. We can
I got a
oppose
19.
that. That would be a deception
Mm-hmm.
to try hiding. She's like, we're gonna be nonchalant. I also got a 19.
So
I
yeah,
have
it's
plus 1 to deception. The odds on that were very small.
Very small. Does
Amazing.
is it to the roll? Is it to the?
it's
How does it go?
it's supposed to be contested roll means that no state changes, so it's entirely. I will let y'all adjudicate it. Merrick, what do you think Winnie picks up on having tied in terms of Merrick's deception?
Merrick is not the most charismatic of people. She's very straightforward. So the fact that she is purposefully acting nonchalant about this is probably triggering enough for Winnie, who has spent this time with her, to be like, why? You're in a room full of books. What's wrong?
Cool. I want to talk to Papa, and I want to ask them if they could open up the big library.
Any particular reason?
I want to surprise Merrick. I think she'd very much enjoy it. They? Is Merrick she or they? I can't remember. She. Yeah, I think she'd very much enjoy it.
That's a fair reason. Merrick will understand that eyes watch the library.
Yeah, I can explain that. And I mean, I can be in there.
Oh, you don't have to. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Well, easy peasy lemon squeezy then. But yeah, if they could have access, that would be great. Even if it's you know, one of your special ones. If you want to, you know, lock up anything extras. But I think that they need a bit more.
They ask for your hand.
I grab their hand with both my hands.
A snake slithers out of her robe and winds its way up your arm. That will let you see the other door and go through it.
Does he have a name?
Nagi.
Oh, Nagi. I give him a little pet. And so just me?
Nagi is the key.
Oh, okay, cool. Very exciting. All right. Okay. And you're okay if I give this to Merrick, right?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. I give them a thumbs up and I run out of the room.
By the way, Nagi is one of those vipers that has like really tall eye crests that are like pointed and sharp going back.
Very cool.
Oh, good. We match.
Yes.
I run back into the regular library and I sidle up to Merrick at the books and like a page that you're trying to read and I just start like blowing on the pages to make them turn.
Yes, Winnie.
I have a surprise for you. And in my hand I have cupped the snake now, like that's twirled into a little thing. And I'm like, follow me. And I just walk up to a door? Is that how it works? I just walk up to a door.
As you're moving along, you do find a door that in previous passes in this indiscernible hallway of nonsense wasn't there, and you do note that the door does not so much have a handle as just a small snake depiction on like a brass like plate where the handle should be.
I like grab Merrick's hand, so then we both like put the snake up to the door at the same time, sort of thing. Just being cute.
Thank you.
Kind of being like, this is how you do it. Like, even though this is the first time. We learn through doing. And then, yeah, lets the snake go onto the door, I imagine. I'm trying to make it look like I know what I'm doing.
And it's very awkward because like Nagi just sort of looks back at you and like then look forward and like the door just like opens. It's not like a touch. It's not like anything. It just opens.
Oh, I thought it needed to slither into the thing.
The little slot.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were saying, that there was a snake slot on the door.
No, it's just a little icon. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, never mind. And I look back and we're like, it's magic.
Yes, it is magic.
Hey, Nagi. Enjoy. I'll be back with snacks. And I just like
Nagi
open
just
the
gets
door.
put amongst like the crown of her horns and stuff, and it's just like, you can live there now. It's fine.
Very quickly curls up and just rests the chin onto the curls.
Oh.
Apparently, we're going inside while Winnie gets snacks.
Yes, I opened the door.
She's just like, okay, go.
Go, enjoy
Merrick,
yourself.
you begin perusing rows and rows. You found the library. And Pebble's in there. Just
I do think that Pebble is doing like the ADHD thing if I'm reading this, but I'm a little bit bored of the dryness, so I need to be doing something else. So she's just like walking by with a book like this.
the walk and read.
Like, oh, hi.
Pebble just kind of gets like a scritch in the hair as we walk past, looking at the rest of the book. Just, yes, I love you too. Moving along.
I think
And
Pebble
books.
is just like an about face of just like, I guess we're following now. But I'm still reading.
A little conga line of books.
Wonderful.
Mm.
Real quick, I want to jump over to Narcissa. Do we think at any point in time that Narcissa is also grouped into, oh, there's a big library?
I mean, probably. I mean, taking a look at all the different maps that they have, it's like, let's look at some different locations. Let's see if there's any places that need the requirement of an archaeologist.
With that big library to your access, Narcissa, if you wanted to keep researching more information about the types of creatures and who you're looking for at this party, you absolutely could make another roll at that. You could also do, if there's anything else that you want to research, or if you want to do something entirely different, you could also do that.
Don't forget that we're helping.
Yes. So now that y'all are very much into like the help mode, I would say that one researchy kind of role could be an advantage. So either Narcissus or Myrick, now that you have the big library at your disposal, or Pebble, you were looking at the tailed beast stuff. Any of those research roles could be at advantage. I'll let y'all pick which one you want.
How are people feeling? Because Narcissa can definitely look more into the enemies that we'll be tackling at the party.
I think the party enemies is the smartest one to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
So give me.
Mirac's totally just gonna sit there with Pebble and be like, okay, let me set this aside now. Let me translate these for you over here. This is what it means.
Give me either a religion check or an arcana check. Either one of those is applicable to some of the creature types available, but at advantage, Narcissa.
So wait, what was I rolling? Sorry, you kind of
Oh no, the internet.
Oh, no.
Ah.
No.
We'll wait for Bud to come back.
jittered out on my.
Oh yeah, it's on your side. You there? You back?
Not quite.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, here we go.
So I rolled a nat 20.
Hey!
Oh.
Either religion or arcana, whichever bonus you want to add to that. Just let me know.
I think they both are a
Oh gosh,
plus 2.
It's rough going into
Yeah,
that
they're both
big
plus
library.
2.
Both plus 2. Excellent. So, among
So you can take your pick.
the remainder, so you got some info on Bodil. There's Glavla, the Green Slod, Chickrick, the Durgaloth, Crowdus, the Fenseer, Yadel, the Glabrazu. And I would say since you broke 20, you could get some information on Agnes Pig Teeth, I think is her last. Pig Tooth.
I thought it was Big Teeth.
Pig Tooth.
Oh, Big Tooth.
Pig tooth.
Just one.
As in oinker. So who would you like to have more information about?
Oh man, considering I only have a +2, the chance of us breaking a 20, but I will leave it to the group since they are helping me research. Just like Marcus just
And I will remind
flipping
you,
through books like, I don't know who to focus on, guys. Somebody give me a direction. I'm going crazy.
of all of them, you do have at least like personality traits, ideals, and flaws for Agnes. You do have some information, at least
Yeah,
in terms of like
let's
who
get our
she is as a
host.
person. You want more information on the host?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the one we're technically. All the rest of them are kind of side pieces to the main event that is her.
Okay.
So,
Oh, we do need to schmooze a lot of these people before we get to her. And if we schmooze a lot of these people, we might not even need to talk to her, and it might just be actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, I think Papa did say if we managed to kind of get everybody on our side, then Agnes would be like, "Hey guys, I want to join."
Yeah, I want to be on
Can I?
too. I think
So-
a different. I think the lesser people. That's my vote anyway. But if you guys want to do Agnes, then do Agnes.
Because I'm
I wanna
also,
know what this fancier guy is.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Fancier was the one that I was also thinking because it's like that's all we know is that they're a Fancier. Like
Yes.
that's it. That's
Yeah.
all.
That's the one you
We-
do know
we
the
know
least
nothing.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that one. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, Fancier.
So, Fenseer are trolls that went on a warring party into the outer plane of Ysgard Bardheim, a long time ago. One thing to know about Bardheim is that if you die there, you are automatically resurrected the next dawn. It's just an immortal fighting plane. You just keep on fighting. But the longer you live there, especially trolls who have natural regeneration magic, the longer you live there, you sort of get warped by that plane. So Fenseers are trolls several hundred generations removed from the first ones that went to Bardheim and have now sort of aligned with that plane. They're basically stronger, more powerful, more dangerous. The one thing to keep in mind about them is that there is a possibility, different things could activate this transformation, but there's a possibility that a Fenseer could turn into a Devourer. And Devourers are basically like Fenseers that are just in full-blown YOLO yeet eat everything mode. And when they die, they can actually impose a death curse on everything around them. They are very, very dangerous.
Is it a personal choice or something that happens to these creatures?
It could be completely different depending on who is there, which individual it is. It's rumored sometimes that like the longer that they live, it just becomes more and more likely to happen. They also do gain sunlight hypersensitivity, meaning that they can actually turn to stone if they are exposed to sunlight. So if you have a way of generating sunlight, that is a very good way of dealing with them. But Devourers largely are like, you're not talking them down. They're in rampage mode. Fenseers are a little bit more acquiescing, calm. They're reasonable to talk to. And other than sort of like the longer faces of trolls, they look a lot more like stone giants or small frost giants. They're still giant folk. But yeah. So that is a little bit more about Fenseers.
Is that also anything that I would have come across in story?
Let's do a separate history
does
check just for
sound-
funsies. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Mine is too young.
Advantage.
Not with advantage, no.
Oh,
Dang.
I rolled a 17, so that's a 15.
Ah, that's not bad.
Terrible.
I would say you know of Fenseers, like you know the legend of the trolls that went on the raiding to Bardheim and that they just stayed there. And that's about it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess as Narcissus is telling us this, I'm like, oh, I know that. That sounds familiar.
So yeah, you at the very least, you'd be able to confirm that, like, oh, okay, this is legit. That is not just a myth. Those things exist, and we're gonna meet one. Cool. I will also throw in just a bonus little factoid, because that wasn't a lot of potentially actionable information, because it's nothing about like the individual. The individual is not like clearly not a like well-known name, not a person of legendary repute. So you're not able to find anything on that Fenseer specifically, on Yadel. I will just say that you do know from further research, Cackling Agnes Pigtooth, she is a night hag. So she has very powerful spell casting and collects people's souls in a bag made of skin.
I had a feeling this was going to be a hag party. I'm like, this is one of two things: hags or some type of underworld bullshit.
She is a
That's
full-blown
the kind
hag.
of party I want to go to.
Yeah. And I
Hag
will
party.
say, in terms of like mechanics, the night hags are fiends, not fae. Most hags are fae. Night hags are specifically fiends. Just in case it matters.
Yeah,
I don't know if
this
it
is
matters for
definitely
anybody else.
a fiend outer plane party.
Oh yeah, and
Oh,
Fenseers
hey
are
guys, I'm
technically
also not
celestials.
from the material plane.
Oh,
Hi guys, I haven't lived in the material plane for years.
I will say, Draconovus is part of the material plane. It is a physical location. It just
Yeah.
has a lot of safeguards around it.
No, we're just a different plane entirely. Don't even worry about it. Bye.
Bye. No biggies.
We are
okay.
actively cutting ourselves off from your plane.
And then Pebble.
Yeah, on the map that Winnie was looking at earlier, there's just a cookie cutout that just doesn't exist. Like,
It is kind of literally that. There is just a big old block that like has Draconovus on it, but it is sparse.
yeah,
Nothing.
it's like no one, anyone that's gone in there to mark it has not come back out to
Yes,
relay it.
Exactly. For Pebble, for your research task of tailed beasts, what did you roll on that one?
I got distracted and I did not roll. It's an 18 minus 2 is 16.
Okay, pretty good. I would say that you're able to figure out denizens of the Dreamlands, along with like you at that roll. I'd say that Pebble actually like gets her bearings a little bit, gets her feet wet in the whole. Oh, this is research, and is able to like actually pull some other books and like start cross-referencing and doing some stuff. You are able to discern, like, confirm a lot of what you already knew, that tailed beasts are largely just like coagulations of psychic energy that turn into sentient, have their own thoughts and feelings creatures. And they are typically representative of, I just noticed chat. The yawn volley. They are typically aligned with some sort of ideal or emotion or impulse, something that is of subconscious relevance to most living things that would attach to the dream plane and therefore feed it psionic energy through the acknowledgement of that thing. So things like fear, curiosity, ambition, those are kinds of things that are deeply resonant emotions that exist in all minds that can spawn tailed beasts. And several have lived, died, waxed, waned. It doesn't mean that the thing they represent goes away. Now I'm watching it. It doesn't mean that the thing that they represent goes away. So like if you kill the tailed beast that represents fear, it doesn't make... Fear still exists. It just doesn't have a supernatural, like, prescient avatar anymore.
Okay.
All I'm getting are the demons from Dragon Age.
I don't know. If I'm doing that, I'm doing it on accident. Convergent world building.
So, what Pebble can get out of that is that whatever kind has spawned for a reason.
Yes, it has.
But I wouldn't know what that is.
You would say, you would be able to know that whatever its motivations are, it is typically to further its aspect. If it's of fear, it wants to make more people afraid. If it's of ambition, it wants more people to be ambitious, because by doing that, it makes itself stronger. And ultimately, like you're reading the Denizens of the Dreamlands and other books, these things do act like beasts. They act like animals at a certain extent. They are just sort of like, they're hovering the line of metaphysics, but they do literally like walk around the Dreamlands eating things. They are alpha predators. So the stronger they get, the bigger the things they can eat. So they just want strength and power to be of themselves.
Which explains a lot why Narcissa was very afraid.
Yes. A particularly large-tailed beast would be far more akin to surviving a hurricane than surviving, like, a dragon attack.
So, from what I've seen, mine, it seemed big to me at first, but am I kind of, like, being able to, like, now realize that it's kind of relatively small compared to other ones? Or
I'm
is
very
it still,
glad you
like, a
asked.
big thing?
Give me a wisdom check.
14.
14. It's very tough to say in terms of absolutes because you've been witnessing through that like dream lens, through subconsciousness. So like, could be small as a dog, big as a mountain. Hard to say, but it always has seemed looming and large when it has presented itself to you. And even when
Yeah.
you had the conflict between it and that sort of like draconic serpentine predator aspect that was from the Nightmare Dragon, from Nightscale. Even in that, Nightscale felt smaller, and parsing it in your mind, sort of like reconstructing it, Nightscale felt like the leading sort of appendage of something big. Maybe not bigger than the one that you're aligned with, but bigger than Nightscale. So it seems like maybe Nightscale was tapping into the energies of something else that was making her change and transform and be scarier than she should have been. But relative to your own, no, your tailed beast seems pretty big.
Okay, cool.
And give me, I'm going to say over the course of 3 days, I want you to have one more investigation check. Making an investigation, you got to earn it through that -2. Unless I can't remember if you're proficient in investigation.
Every roll I've had is minus.
Yep. All good.
All right, there we go. A 9.
9. You are not able to quite piece together enough information to take a good guess at what your tailed beast is. But you're starting to construct more of that map. You've got like at least like, oh, I've got some bookmarks in good places. Like I'll be able to get to this sometime, but it's just a matter of time running out at some point. Mirror.
I think Pebble tries. Sorry, I think Pebble watching like Narcissa and Mirik do like actual like good research. She's like trying to emulate that with like bookmarks and like writing paper, but she ends up like doodling on the sides and it's just all over the place on the papers. But she's got some sort of system now.
We'll put it on the research wall. We'll put the doodles on the research wall. We'll have a little doodle corner for you.
Mirik, what are now that you're in the big girl library? What would you like to be looking for?
We have 2 things that we're trying to find, and they are indeed scrolls. I don't know if in the big girl library scrolls would be there or not, but we're gonna see.
Mm-hmm.
And one is sending, and the other is detect thoughts.
Ooh.
Not in her usual realm of magic, but she's like, look, I need to. We are delving into some shit right here. I need to know how to do these things.
Give me an investigation check.
Yeah.
And are you trying, you know that you're being watched because the key literally has eyes. Are you trying to keep this search on the DL, or are you just openly looking?
Oh no. Now she's got like the eyeballs with her, so she's just like, all right, little buddy, let's go find some spells.
Stuff.
Nat 20 for 27.
Nice. Very, very cool. So, this is going to happen 2 ways. One, I want to give you something
Yes.
for like, you're combing this library, you're looking for what the sections are. And there's not a Dewey Decimal System. It's like, it's however the library owner thought it should go together. So it's always a nice little puzzle to figure it out at the start. You recognize a couple of things about the contents of this library. One, it has way more information about like the nature of spells and of magic specifically. Way more into what you would call like research thesis kind of materials.
Yeah.
Its specific focus is on a lot of magic having to do with illusion and enchantment. A lot of mind fuckery. A lot of making illusions more realistic, even borderline creating things from pure thought. And you're now very much constructing sort of like, okay, so that's how the rooms work, is that this is just basically this whole place is a illusion that is able to like manifest enough to feel real enough.
We're mixing illusion with conjuration and intertwining the two.
Yes. And so that is one major area of focus, is those types of magics. The other major area of focus, oddly enough, is in this sort of like not dogmatic religion. It is an area of sort of like, how do gods and these greater beings work? How does immortality work? Where do these powers come from? It's very much on like, if you were trying to find a god particle or reverse engineer how big magic happens, all of that kind of topic. And you see that bleed into a lot of what Pebble has actually been focused on with all of the Dreamlands work. Again, the mental magic, the idea of thought becoming reality. And you're connecting the idea that perhaps it's not conjuration fueling the like semi-reality of these illusions. It's actually something deeper to where it is just like, it's just that good of a trick. You believe that the bed is real, so much so that it becomes so. You do not find scrolls. However, your search for them is apparent, like your intent is apparent enough that Papa does eventually say, like, find you. If you are looking for additional spells, I recognize you carry a spell book. I can potentially find those for you. I do not keep them out and in the open.
Understandable. I, for the most part, am looking for a way of contacting my father and letting him know that I am well. There was an accident that brought me to the dungeons, and he will worry.
I have ready access to that spell. Is there anything else that you are looking for?
It might be best, though I do not know if I would be best suited to cast this particular magic, given my own proclivities, and I'm well aware of my own failings. But if we were to catch the thoughts of those that we are going to speak with, whether they are stray surface thoughts or if one of us were able to find something deeper to give us an advantage over them.
It's risky magic. The one that you target
Always.
can determine that you are probing. So, use with caution, but I have both of these. And so you are provided with spell scrolls of both detect thoughts and sending. And I want to remind Narkissa, did you want to do any magic item swapping? Because I think you talked about the long sword potentially. You are muted. Or,
Whoop!
there we go.
Yes. Oh, I realized I was trying to keep this out of the way so that you guys didn't hear me just scratching at myself. Sorry. But yes, I was thinking about switching the longsword for maybe like a crossbow or like...
Roll me a d20. Although I think Bun might be
And
frozen
we've
now.
lost her
No!
momentarily.
Bun, no, come back. Okay. Oh, is she back?
I am here.
They're back.
I can
yes.
hear you.
Give me a d20.
Crossbow
God damn it,
or
a D20?
Yes. Yeah, crossbow or what? What was the other? What was the or? Oh
Nope,
God,
nope, come
we're
back,
gonna
come
fire
back.
AT&T. We're gonna hunt
Except for
down.
me.
Oh no.
Get him.
But yes, I will do a roll. But yes, I think everybody has a weapon, but that might be able to benefit from one. So either myself or 19.
19. That was to see if it was timely enough to arrive in time. Papa does have a network of magic item people that can do that sort of thing. So knock off 100 gold, but you are able to swap the longsword +1 for a, I believe, light crossbow +1.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now
Mirek
I
is
can
keeping the
definitely
great.
get past that.
Mirek is keeping the +2 great axe as an aspirational weapon of
Yes.
muscle wizard might.
Yeah.
It's okay. I've already
And
decided.
then I'm gonna add.
Go ahead. Go.
No, go ahead. No, you.
I was gonna say, the next level is in fighter. So that way I can use.
Amazing.
She's like, all right, let's go.
Amazing. All right.
And then I'm gonna just place an order for something for the future, as in like, hey, if you could like track this down for me for the future, that would be cool.
And what's that for?
It's so that I'm less likely to get my ass kicked on the battlefield.
I think I know what you're talking about.
The cloak. It's called a cloak of displacement,
Yes.
made from displacer beasts.
Those could be rather difficult to track down, but I'll put word out into my network to see if any exist.
Yeah, that's why I thought I just put it out into the ether now. See if something comes back at some point in the future.
It never hurts to ask. And with that,
Nick has one more
While-
book to
while
find
everyone
before we
is-
close out.
Oh yeah, and I need to
Yes.
I'm doing something while the research distraction is going on.
yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, so while the research distraction is going on, so let's save Windveer for last. Mirek, what's your last
Yeah,
book?
do mirror.
Okay. Mirek is very specifically, because there are, adventure books and stuff. Winnie has them. Winnie has talked about them. Going to look for one on her father, who was an
Ooh.
adventurer outside
Okay.
of Draco Novus.
Give me an investigation check with disadvantage because you've already used a lot of time.
Yeah, this is her last minute, like, oh
Yeah.
shit, that's right, I wanted to do this too. Let's find another d20. There it is. They both rolled 4, which means an 11.
You are not able to put a clawed finger to your father's name, although you do see like a couple of books here and there that you're thinking are like, oh, okay, this might be at least the section that I need to look at.
We'll come back to this later.
Yeah, the Personas Dramatae, you found that section of the library, so you can always come back later to do some more searching.
You find the
Oh.
one book that Winnie squished behind the bookshelf, and you're like, this must be near the area.
She was gonna hand it to Winnie too and be like, here's an adventure book for you.
Nice.
Here's some insight to my background without saying this is insight to my background.
Yep.
So we'll come back to that.
But Windveer, you had one last
Yes.
thing you wanted to do?
Yes. This library has been a great distraction for her lovely wives.
Wives.
And while that distraction is going on, Winnie has disappeared off into her old bedroom. She has gathered a few of her sister's things, as well as a knife that she has like disinfected over like a flame sort of thing. And she is going to actually, underneath her new clothes, slice some of the moss that is in like the hand shape of Saoirse.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of has like been growing up, so she's kind of like shaving it down and just like a chunk of it. And with that, plus some of Saoirse's things, plus some dreamling ichor, plus some black blood, and she's just going to congeal it into this pot and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
She puts some of her magic into it. She's just magic potting it.
I love
Like,
it.
this is definitely how my wives do it.
She saw something happen on the wall of the cave with the tree, and she wants to see if she can make some sort of reaction again but like she's going a bit overboard, being like, this is like trying to, like, you know, force something to happen.
When you say Search's...
Whether or not something happens immediately, or if she has to leave it and let it fester and grow, then that's fine. But this is what she's doing over some time.
I love it. When you say Search's things, what all is it in that?
Anything that's like, I don't know, like some garments that she would have been would have been wearing before, a hairbrush maybe, or like just anything that I think would be like, this is her thing that she used.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe a slipper.
Slipper. As you are doing this in your old room, putting the stuff together, just sort of like magic potting it.
Mm.
Hey, what you doing?
Oh no.
And you see up on a shelf, Jot, his little green quasit legs just swinging.
Hey, hi. How'd you get in here?
Oh, I've been here. You left and I was here. Where you been?
More dungeons.
Good. You find any new friends?
I did. I found many new friends. In fact, I found wives.
Oh.
Yes.
No, it's okay. I thought there was... Never mind. It's neither here nor there. What you got cooking?
I'm not quite sure. But, something happened. And I want to see if I can make it happen again. Are you staying here?
Yeah, I'm roaming around every now and again.
Oh.
I don't really have anywhere else to be. And, Vipassity was chill if I just sort of came and went. You know, I pop in, I pop out. I got things to do. I got full ledger. Lots of people.
Yeah.
Lots of people want some Jot time.
Of course, absolutely. In fact, I would like some Jot time.
Oh,
if
really?
I could have it. Well, I would like to use your time.
I do like to be used. We've covered this.
Yes, I know. I'd like you to sit in here on your own and watch this pile. Check in on it every now and again. That's
okay.
all.
Just check it in. Am I supposed to do anything if it does a certain thing or not? Just looking at it.
Can you find me?
He jumps down, little talons like clacking along the ground. I have a lock of your hair. I'll be able to, I think, send you a message a little bit easier.
I'll give you a lock of my hair in exchange for your full name. And I grab the dagger that I used to slice it. I just hold it against my hair.
I'm doing this for you. I'm contacting you because on your...
But I also know... And I squint. I've read enough fairy tales to know a trickster.
It's Jottholomew.
No, I love it. And I slice off a chunk of my hair, kind of making an asymmetrical line to my bob. And
nice.
I give it to him.
He very quickly ties it up into a little ribbon and puts it on his wrist so it doesn't get lost. Perfect. Okay, I'll be able to send you some messages like this.
Well, just let me know. If anything happens, if anything doesn't happen, then don't worry about it. You just do you.
Okay.
But can I do anything in exchange? Want something shiny?
Honestly, your hair's kind of shiny. This is actually fine. This is good.
Perfect. I actually should have asked, did you want the orange side or the blonde side?
Oh. I guess it doesn't
Matter.
I don't think it matters. No, I think it's all good.
It's come from the red side if I did it via how I just did the motion.
Sure.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds. I'll watch whatever this is. Did you actually like use like magic or cure? Like, what kind of magic did you use when you were putting it together?
I put 2 lots of what I did on the wall. I believe I just chose out of my 4 things. I just chose the ones that like
the Pale Strangler
stick the most. Pale Strangler, and I think I rather than rot moss.
I think Green Fever is the other one.
Yeah, Green Fever, that's the poison damage. No, the Festering Pox.
Festering Pox
I
and
would have
Pale
just
Strangler.
only added 2 levels of Pale Strangler. The rest of them wouldn't make sense as to we need to add to it, because it was all of them negate life, whereas the Pale Strangler is like gonna grow into something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure. I like it.
Cool.
You put it together. It is a weird little. It's like okay. I'm gonna tell on myself here. I don't know if any other kids did this, but did you ever go to your spice rack and you like wanted to combine all the spices and like put it in water, and you thought it'd be super cool, and like it'd be like the bubbling cauldron from like, you know, the witches you saw on TV.
That's not how it works.
And it's not. It's just a muddy brown glass of water, and then you're like, oh, maybe it's tasty. And it's definitely not. And so it's just like kind of a disappointment all around. That's sort of how it like the Pale Strangler like latches on and like grows around, but you can see it sort of like discoloring from the black blood, and like the Dreamaker is doing this weird scintillating sizzle thing. It's just like it all eventually calms down into this like relative stasis of nothing. It's just kind of a pile of stuff, a wet pile.
Well, the fact it bubbled made it fun for me for about 5 minutes, and now I'm probably good. And I leave the pile and I close the door.
Jock gives you a little wave on the way out. All right, I'll watch this. I'll make sure.
Thanks you. And discretion, please.
Oh, like so don't tell tall
Just anyone?
tall dark and wood not anything about it.
Yeah. Just no one.
Okay. Works for me.
Perfect.
You leave the room. Jock turns and like studiously sort of like hands on thighs watches the little pile.
I definitely watch it for like a while before I leave. Probably as long as I watched the other stuff, because it was pretty quick to do something.
It was pretty quick, yes.
And if I did that, and I can't remember, like, because I don't know what day it is, if like we opened up the big library on the last day or like on the second day.
Yeah.
But I check on it at least once more before we go, sort of thing. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Roll me a D100.
Okay. What is 0 on the one on its own?
So that means it's down in the single digits, or it's a 100 if the other one's a 0.
Then.
8. Okay. Interesting. It's a pile, and it just like when you come back, the pile is more solid. It's like you left Play-Doh out and it kind of dried up, but it still has this like really oily sheen to it all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going away. You just don't know if it's changing in any sort of interesting direction.
That's cool. I have no sense of this working. I just wanted to experiment.
You leave Jop behind. He's on watch duty. He looks down at his little Winnie hair red bracelet. One step closer, one step closer. And got some friends. And he like opens his little claw, and you can see these tiny little purple wet squidgy things in his hand. I rolled a 19 for sleight of hand for him to pickpocket your purple bag of tricks. So if we ever have that slime time one shot, it's now set up. Haha, I've restored the timelines that never got out of sorts.
Yes, the timeline has been restored.
The timeline has been restored. we look away a little bit. The group is at the end of their time. They are dressed to the nines now in all of the beautiful look. My dog's perfect timing. Excellent. No notes. You are all dressed in all of your finery, ready to go on whatever mission Papa has prepared for you. Ready to go to cackling Agnes Pigtooth's party. At the same time, we see Jot skipping down the halls. Blue torchlight flickers in sconces. And a pale-faced, feminine shape sits on a tall throne. I know something you don't know. I know something you don't know. This is gonna be good. And we'll find out what happens later. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching episode 51 of Tales Does Tales. We don't talk about spooky stuff. Spooky, wooky, squishy, gushy stuff. With a little bit of romance and silliness in between. Because it's all fun. That's us. So, excuse me, dang it. Make sure to tune in just a few hours for a new episode of Total Party Chaos. Make sure to tune in on Wednesday. The cast is going to be, or at least a couple of the cast are going to be in chat as we watch some old episodes of Vengalia in preparation for episode 100. And then make sure, triple duper make sure to check in on Saturday when we go live for the Day of Pride. And we celebrate Pride Month with some amazing LGBTQ streams and get some cool charity fundraising for the Trevor Project. With all of that out of the way, go join us on Patreon. If you would like to inform the tales, all of the stuff that you're watching right now, like what we're doing in between these two dungeons, was decided on Patreon. So you should join and vote on stuff. It's cool and fun time. And with all of that out of the way, thank you for watching. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And are you ready for more tales?
Always.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.